Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's The Jewels of the Qur'an, Jawahir al-Qur'an. And we have reached Surah Hud. And if you have the Muhammad Abul Qasim's translation, we are on page 104, 11 verses from Surah of Hud. To God is your return. He has the fullest power over everything. Take notice. They, in brackets, that is the hypocrites, they surely fold up their breasts that they may hide, in brackets, their thoughts from Him, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from God. Take notice, even when they cover themselves up with their garments, He subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, He knows what they conceal and what they disclose. Certainly, He has the fullest knowledge of what is in their minds. There is no creature that moves in the earth, but is for God to provide it with sustenance, and He knows its temporary lodging and its permanent house. All this is recorded in a clear book that is, in parentheses, the preserved tablet, Lawh al-Mahfuz. These are verses 4 to 6. إلى الله مرجعكم وهو على كل شيء قدير ألا إنهم يثنون صدورهم ليستخفوا منه ألا حين يستغشون ثيابهم يعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون إنه عليم بذات الصدور وما من دابة في الأرض إلا على الله رزقها ويعلم مستقرها ومستودعها كل في كتاب مبين. To God is your return. Not only this life is temporary, but there is another life in the hereafter. There is another phase. Death is a transition from this life to the other life. It's a reminder. إلى الله مرجعكم. He has the fullest power over everything. وهو على كل شيء قدير. You will return. You will die. You will return. You will be resurrected. You will be held accountable. And it's either paradise or hellfire. But for sure there is a return. And as if this verse is a warning about those or to those who fold up their breasts when they kind of they crunch, they would like to keep what they discuss private in a sense. The body language of those who want to keep something secret. They obviously it's not open. But not only if that body, that posture is the case, even if they cover themselves with their garments to keep things secretive, it doesn't work. We talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows everything in the universe, and that would be definitely within the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's omniscient. This is why He knows what goes on in there, what they conceal, what they disclose, and what's in their minds. إنه عليم بذات الصدور. As a reminder, it was an advice from someone who said that if you would like to sin against God, do find a place where He cannot see you, which is impossible. One might say choose a place where He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, where God does not hear you, which is impossible. You cannot hide anything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything is exposed no matter what. And not only this, everything. Today they say that everything, whatever you post online, it's going to be there forever. That's what they say. In fact, it's been the case. Whatever you express, whatever you do, it is recorded and forever. It's the angels, and you have a record yourself of everything. Subhanallah. Today they use for memory purposes electronically, they use silicon chips, but it's been already quite a few years since scientists succeeded in uploading information onto an organic cell, and probably this will evolve over the years. And the moment I've read this, it's been many years. Subhanallah, I remember that the Quran speaks about their own skins will bear witness against them, as if everything is recorded, even on the skin. The cells. Just ask specialists about the memory that is. In fact, the what's the DNA? It's a certain type of coded specific memory that is passed on, and that every creature, when the Quran speaks about every creature on earth, is sustained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if every creature is sustained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fully knowledgeable. He is omniscient about all those creatures, about their places, about their needs. He created them, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He sustains them. Sometimes there are famines because of drought, but also because sometimes because we are causing the greenhouse effect, El Nino, changes in weather patterns. They say that this particular year, 2024, is the highest we have recorded temperatures since they began recording on record, since they began recording temperatures. But that's one type of drought leading to famine. The other one is political. When the polity, when the society collapses, when there's no government, it's not safe for farmers to plant and harvest, especially grains. Then there will be famine. It's not caused by drought, it's caused by the lack of central authority. Subhanallah. There is a need for Muslim scholars over the centuries. They preferred stability, and they practically accepted almost every form of government in favor of the public good. So there will be no chaos in the society and no bloodshed, etc. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sustains all those creatures. And again, He knows the universal and He knows the particulars. Everything um, is recorded in a clear book. Everything is in a clear book. That's a reference to the preserved tablet, Al-Lawh al-Mahfuz. It was commanded, in brackets, after the deluge, after the flood, O earth, swallow up your water. O sky, desist. The water subsided. The affair was accomplished. The ark, in brackets, of Noah, alayhi salam. The ark came to rest on Judi, Mount Judi, Allahu alam. And it was said, a far removal from God. A far removal, in brackets, from God, is for the wrongdoing people. وقيل يا أرض ابلعي ماءك ويا سماء أقلعي وغيض الماء وقضي الأمر واستوت على الجودي وقيل بعدا للقوم الظالمين. This verse about the story of Sayyid Nuh alayhi salam, it's a jewel, but immediately it brings to the foreground the story of Sayyid Nuh alayhi salam with his people, and that he called them, he invited them to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A thousand years less 50, and the Qur'an uses sana for the 1000 and am for the 50, and it has been understood by some scholars. The first number is about solar years, and the second number is about lunar years. So there's like there's a 1.5, a year and a half difference. Every 100 years they have 3 years difference, so the 50 would have 1.5 year difference. It doesn't make much difference really, but the idea is attempting to be accurate. But the idea is they have rejected, and ultimately Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam gave up on them, and those few who believed, they hopped onto the ark that he built. He built with directives from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was revealed to him what to do, and he got a pair, a male and female, of the animals, and then the earth was gushing water, and the sky was pouring rain, and that ark of course floated, and the people drowned in the flood. One of the saddest scenes just before the immediately, practically, when the flood began. There's a scene in which Nuh alayhi salam addressed his son, Ya bunayya arkam ma'ana, oh son, do ride with us, be on the ark. And his son resorted to he thought that being on a high mountain will save him. سآوي إلى جبل يعصمني من الماء. Of course, his father is a prophet. لا عاصم اليوم من أمر الله. There's no way you can. There's nothing that will protect you from the divine um, order, uh, and which is very sad. And the waves, already the water reached that high, and the waves came in between. And it's a very sad story, but I think of it also as the waves came in between, so that Sayyidina alayhi salam, it seems that he did not see his son. Of course he drowned, but he did not see him drowning. Wallah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. Now, if you think about also another aspect of this particular story, is that there is a verse in the Quran about choosing Adam alayhi salam, choosing Nuh alayhi salam, choosing the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and choosing Al Imran, the family of Mary. These are the four chosen, if you will. إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين, over all people. These are the four seems stages of choosing particular individuals and families. Adam is definitely the beginning of humanity. That's the beginning. And a second beginning, the people who, Lut alayhi salam and Nuh alayhi salam and the people who were with him on the ark. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them. Few, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed them. That's the second. It's practically almost like a second beginning. And the third beginning, of course, is we talk about spiritual beginnings now. That's the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And subhanallah, in Islam we don't differentiate between Ismail and Ishaq alayhi salam. The issue is not the genealogy. The issue is it's faith, spirituality, and of course action in line with faith. And the Al Imran, it cannot continue beyond Jesus Christ, peace upon him. That's it. He was the end of that line, if you will. And this is why it shifts back again to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is the last of the second line, if you will. And people discuss. I think it's very important also to remember that there are those who say that this is not the Islamic position, but it's very important to mention it because it's out there. There are scholars who say that the author of the Old Testament got the story of the flood there from the Epic of Gilgamesh, because it does have the Epic of Gilgamesh has a flood story, and they say that the author of the Quran, of course they do not believe that there is revelation. They say that the author of the Quran took from the story of the flood from the Old Testament. Now, it's extremely important to realize that in order for such a claim to be valid, then there has to be direct quotations, especially of something wrong, something false, that will For example, in the story of the flood in the Old Testament, all the children of Noah alayhi salam, of Noah, are saved, not in the Quran. It does include a very problematic scene where Noah alayhi salam gets drunk. This is not befitting a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gets drunk. Um, his young son discovers him, and he becomes naked while he was drunk. And the other two sons walk backward and they cover their father. And when he wakes up, he curses the youngest. One can see that there's a certain line of creating a narrative in favor of land inheritance, in favor of one child in particular. None of this is, of course, in the Quran. This is why the Quranic story, in any particular story, all this the Quran, including all these stories, they reflect the absolute truth. And whenever we have differences with the people of the book, then the Quran is the ultimate, represents the ultimate truth. This is the notion of muhaymin, that the Quran has the upper hand as a revealed source. The other sources suffered from the vagaries of transmission over thousands of years. Things changed, but not the Quran. The Prophet Hud said to his people, "Surely I have put my trust in God, my Lord and your Lord. There is no creature that moves on the earth, but He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, holds it completely in His power. Surely my Lord is on the straight path. If now you should turn away, I have already conveyed to you that with which I have been sent to you, and my Lord will make another people your successors, and you can in no wise do any harm. Surely my Lord is guardian over everything." These are verses 56 to 57. إني توكلت على الله ربي وربكم ما من دابة إلا هو آخذ بناصيتها إن ربي على صراط مستقيم فإن تولوا فقد أبلغتكم ما أرسلت به إليكم ويستخلف ربي قوما غيركم ولا تضرونه شيئا إن ربي على كل شيء حفيظ. This is the message of Hud alayhi salam. All prophets reflect. In terms of theology, there should be absolutely no difference between the prophets. The message should be the same. Any difference, we don't talk about detail, we talk about difference. Any difference, we have to look at the difference and see where it came from. All the prophets in the Quran, with no exception, they call for they call their own respective peoples to believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in the message that they have received. And all the articles of faith, they don't change. Believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, believing in His prophets, believing in the books, believing in the angels, believing in the day of judgment, etc. The law does differ somewhat, and that's the only thing. That's the only thing that differs. This is why Shabbat was required of the people of the book, not of us Muslims. We have the Friday during the Friday, the time for during the Friday prayer, whether the Imam the prayer continues for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes. During that time, it is prohibited to do business, pretty much like the prohibition during the Shabbat. But for us, it's that time during the Friday prayer. Of course, you don't ask border police to soldiers certain traffic police near large gatherings, surgeons at hospitals. Someone has to be there for emergency. Some nurses, some lab technicians, etc. So there are vital jobs that cannot be left without people um, being ready there. But I can give you one example. There is no urgency in having an ice cream parlor to remain uh, in business during that particular time during the Friday prayer. A business deal during the Friday prayer is invalid. Had your Lord enforced his will, he would surely have made mankind one religious community. As it is, they will not cause to differ, except those on whom your Lord has had mercy. And for this had he created them. But the word of your Lord shall be fulfilled. Surely I will uh, fill I will fill hell with jinn and men altogether. All that we relate to you of the tidings of our messengers is such that thereby we make your heart firm, and that have come to you the truth, an exhortation and a reminder for the believers. Say to those who do not believe, act according to your station. We too are acting. Wait, we are also waiting. To God alone belongs, in brackets, knowledge of the unseen, in brackets, matters of the heavens and the earth. And to Him, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will all matters be returned. So worship Him and put your trust in Him. Your Lord is not heedless of that which you do. ولو شاء ربك لجعل الناس أمة واحد ولا يزالون مختلفين إلا من رحم ربك ولذلك خلقهم وتمت كلمة ربك لأملأن جهنم من الجنة والناس أجمعين وكلا نقص عليك من أنباء الرسل ما نثبت به فؤادك وجاءك في هذا الحق وموعظة وذكر المؤمنين وقل الذين لا يؤمنون اعملوا على مكانتكم إنا عاملون وانتظروا إنا منتظرون ولله غيب السماوات والأرض وإليه يرجع الأمر كله فاعبده وتوكل عليه وما ربك بغافل عما تعملون. It's a very important verse about it is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have simply created us the way He created the angels. All the angels, they submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the absolute obedience. Not the human beings. We have been endowed with free will. We know what's right and what's wrong. There is a revelation. There is a certain category about people who might not have been exposed to revelation. But in general, we talk about the state of fitra, and people do know what's right and what's wrong. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us all alike, a community of like one community of faith of believers, and this difference will continue. And thus, it is how do you live together with people who do not believe in what you believe? Subhanallah, if you look at the history of the region since the advent of Islam, we talk about 15 centuries practically, we have lived with the other, we have accommodated the other. Just think about Surah in Surah Al-Ma'idah, وَطَعَامُ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ حِلٌّ لَكُمْ وَطَعَامُكُمْ حِلٌّ لَهُمْ. The food of the people of the book is lawful for you, and your food is lawful for them. And then it speaks about the chaste women of the people of the book are lawful for Muslim men, meaning that the maternal family could be Christian or Jew, and this is not this is not really about marrying a Zionist. That's out of the question. But the idea is originally is that there is certain social fabric that was promoted, and the protection of the places of worship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the only book where the synagogues, the churches, the monasteries are mentioned in the and followed by the mosques, of course. So subhanallah, we advocate pluralism, in the existential pluralism, if you will. This is not no relativizing of truth. I do believe that theologically they are wrong, but at the same time, I will defend their right to be what they are. They don't want to believe that they are free, and this state should protect their rights. It should be entrenched in law, if you will. It's not a favor of any one of us. This is really what Islam. This is really the history of Islam. The Andalusian, the convivencia was an Islamic Andalusian paradigm. It's not a modern thing that was formulated. I think this is really the a key concept, and inshallah in the next session we'll start with Surah Al-Ra'd. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.